Welcome, UPL Season 5 fans. Here we are with the Week 2 rankings. I am Rockhands the Caveman here with. Wow.
Jake, ready to give
Wow.
you the rankings.
Way late on that, Jake.
I thought you were gonna give me a nickname. I was excited.
I don't have a nickname. Jake the Destroyer? Is that what you
I
want?
don't. I don't have a nickname for myself, so I wasn't ready.
Oh, okay. Oh, next episode, Jake's new nickname.
Here we go.
Alright. So we had a lot of games. 9 games altogether. We have what 8 teams. We have a whole new rankings. Um, I will put a proclaimer that on my rankings, a lot has changed because now we are ranking on actual coaching inside the game as well as their team. So yeah,
Whereas, I like to base my rankings a lot off my post draft rankings too. So why mine has some pretty big changes. They're not as crazy as like Rocky's changes.
yeah, definitely. Mine, I fixed a lot of travesties from my week 1 draft rankings. I feel, and everyone's gonna be upset or happy.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
All right.
Yeah, I love people bitching.
So at ranked 18, we have Calexo. I have him ranked at 16 overall, and Jake has him ranked 17th overall. And what do you think about his game, Jake?
I mean, honestly, I felt like he didn't perform that well. I felt like he was under prepped and he played under his skill level. He made quite a few mistakes. I felt the biggest one of all was not staying in was Araquanid. We both felt that the lunge could have definitely worn down the Como and could have put it in a situation where Como didn't end up punching a hole in his entire team.
Yeah, and I don't know why he should have just sat there and done that the whole time. And then after that, he let 2 Pokemon die for no reason. Like you should be able to do calcs and see that your Pokemon is gonna die off of that. Because at the very least, he could have at least brought in Rotom Wash or Araquanid back in, and then hit it really hard after a combat because your defenses go down, and then he would have those 2 other Pokemon that save him for the rest of the game. I also didn't like how he opened up with Dragonite and he just stayed in there too long. Like the Mawile comes in, you know it's gonna sucker punch. Why not just switch it out and save Dragonite later? Like that's a free just switch out. Like it didn't make sense to me. You had Mons that can take a play rough too as well, but I don't get it. Like his switch outs wasn't that good this game.
So while I can agree, I didn't really like the switching out. I felt like a lot of his switch-ins weren't ready. He should have had maybe brought like better mons to switch in to certain threats than the core had. But I would also like to point out leading Dragonite is never a bad idea. Never a bad idea. So Calixto, I'm with you with that choice. I wish it could have gone better for you, and I've seen it. I've seen it basically win games by itself, leading. If you're not ready for it, it punches a hole in your team before you're even ready to start the match.
Which Nakora wasn't because he switched out right away. Which I was like, why not just sit in there and break its multi skill? Like you know it's gonna Dragon Dance turn 1 whenever you see it open up. But he didn't do
But
that. He switched
so
out. But
the
he
only
dealt
reason
with it
Nakor was
fine.
able to, yeah, the only reason Nakor was able to deal with it the way he did is because he had a double intimidator core going on.
Yeah, and it worked.
So that was I don't know if he intentionally brought that for the Dragonite, but it ended up being great, a great bring for him.
I don't even think I saw Nakor like bring in his tank spawn. Oh, forget Nakor. Let's not even talk about Nakor. We'll talk about Nakor later. So that's pretty much what we have on Calexo, right?
Yep, one hundred
Yeah.
percent.
All right. So then coming in at 17 is Hoobi.
So I'm gonna start this out. I have one note on the Hubi's game, and my one note is not a beast boost. He needed 6 Ultra Beast to win the game, and he only brought 4.
That's a very good point. Very good point. Uh, Hoobi had to play against Mandy, and Mandy had a very solid team, and that's why Hoobi lost. Like Mandy's not awful. She had a solid team, and Hoovy lost because he has no support mons to help his mons. He's just going out there and attacking the whole time. So the fact that Mandy did have support mons made it really hard for Hoovy to do anything, and it should have been
Yeah,
a lot harder.
I agree with your points. but my counter argument is not enough beast boost.
Yeah, if he would have had more beast boost. I mean, he did have nasty plot. What is that?
Hoyt Bull ended up
Yes.
probably putting in the most work in my opinion, which was great. it
That
was hilarious.
yeah, that was really scary. And my son in the background's even saying it was scary.
I think overall, um, the game was fine. Mandy was just had the better team, was better prep, but Hoobie played better, which is
Yeah.
why it was this close to the win.
And this is what we talked about at the beginning, where it's like Hoobie's gonna beat bad teams and bad coaches, but he's not gonna beat good teams and good coaches with the teams he does. And we'll see if he like changes up his team throughout the week if he's like starts taking it seriously. But I doubt it. He's gonna play this as long as possible.
Hoobie, just listen to me. Just know I love your team. I love what you're doing. Not enough beast boost.
Face boost. All right. Well, that brings us to our ranking of number 16, which is Bryce. And I have Bryce ranked all the way 18th overall, and you have Bryce ranked
Number 14.
14.
I didn't drop him like somebody did. Someone dropped him like a
Oh,
rock.
I dropped
Down to
him so far, and it could be a little personal, like the reason why, because I was trying to help him, and he I don't know. He didn't like not take my advice, but he didn't take my advice. And then he got beat by Mons that know how to belly drum and stuff. So I don't know. What do you think about his games?
I thought that he 100% lost the game for himself. He pro or Tyler didn't win. Bryce lost the game. Is what I thought happened.
Yeah, I
I
he had
thought
no checks for his mon for Tyler's Mons that actually can set up and just sweep the team. So it made it dumb. It made it really dumb. Like you have to prep for that. And I was talking to him and I was trying to tell him that, and other people were giving him bad advice in my mind. Of course, that's an opinion, and he lost because of
but Rocky's opinion is always right.
it.
Just so you guys Yeah,
Not
so I think
always,
the thing
most
is,
of the time.
Bryce, just so you know, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has those days. We sometimes you just lose.
Hmm. Yeah, that
But
happens.
these mistakes are terrible, and you should think hard on it.
Yeah, you'll be fine. You have a rain team. The other thing is Tyler's a really good battler. Like I love battling him. It's always really fun. So it's not like you lost to a really bad team or anything like that.
I think so. In the future, I would say just when you're coming to a point in the match where your very next move is gonna be, like make or break it. Like for example, like a belly drummer or a dragon dancer. Just really think about what you're doing. And a lot of the times, it's worth it to sacrifice a mon just to break them down a little bit. Because I
Yeah,
guarantee superpower is probably gonna do what, like 50 or 60 to it.
yeah,
And then you have Golbat, which is a great wall, and it's coming in and it's gonna click air slash and it's gonna die. And then you have a chance because you have that rain team to come back. Like you're never out of the game because you have a rain team.
yeah. Uh, I always, especially against like Lanoon, I like to run stuff with like Rocky Helmet. So like it's gonna set up, you hit it, then you bring in a Pokemon with a Rocky Helmet that can survive 2 hits, and you do 2 more hits to it, and then you should have something else to be able to kill it after that.
We were talking about like Rocky Helmet, eject button,
Red card.
red card. I don't remember which one does which.
Red card
Uh,
throws him out. Eject throws you out.
yeah,
Yeah.
so you wanted the inject button.
Yeah.
But I feel like Rocky Helmet would have been a great bring, especially because like any other physical threats he has can also get checked by that.
Yeah. Which I
Uh, for
think was
future
most.
reference, that would be something great to run on something like Fortress.
Yeah.
And so, along with that, when you see something like Linoon coming in, if you see Linoon in the game, you have to have something in the back for it. Like you have to be ready. You just can't let it set up on you and lose.
Yeah. So
So I thought you played a little reckless with your fortress, is what I'm trying to say.
yeah. So going to our next ranking, which is rank 15, is our Australian dude Frozen, and I was rough on him on the rankings. This this is a
Rocky was
team.
nice this week.
This is a team that I put number one overall, and to see him perform so poorly made me very, very sad. And I ranked him. He was number one, and I ranked him all the way down to 17th for just his play. And then I believe you were a lot
honestly,
nicer. You
honestly,
had him at
you
11.
did that. You did that because of his first two plays of the game. He played overall okay if you take out the first two plays. Because in the first two plays of the game, he basically sacks one of his mons and loses almost the entirety of another.
Yeah, and
Or maybe,
this,
maybe he loses both of them. I can't exactly remember off
well,
the top of
this
my
is
head.
what comes back to the whole sticky web thing too. He sacks his sticky web turn one just to get turn one like sticky webs when Ninetales has a defogger on his team. So now you're playing a 5 to 6 games, and sticky web's not going to be a problem because he has Alteria that was a tank. So that did not help him. And then he had no answer, like absolutely no answers for Gengar.
Well, the
There's
other
no
thing,
switch-ins.
when you bring a Weber and lead it first turn, I guarantee the other person knows that's going to happen. So
Yeah,
when you see a Weber on the opposite team, you know that they're either that your lead is going to be based on that.
yeah. So
And
you
I feel like Frozen wasn't ready for that.
and if you're gonna do something like that, have someone with like Defiant on your team, where you know if they want to get webs off, you're gonna have a Defiant Pokemon there to take advantage of it.
Well, there's only like 4 or 5 Defiant Mons that are affected by webs.
No, I meant like for them to defog the webs away. You throw in like
I mean,
Bisharp.
same thing. In a league
Yeah.
with 18 people, there's only like 10 Defiant users that people will run. So I don't that's great to have, um, but you just don't always see it.
Yeah. And then also Frozen just didn't have enough. He didn't have enough like tanks in my mind to handle all the firepower that Ninetales had. Ninetales was just able to go on autopilot. It just seemed like.
So I would say that I agree with that completely. In the draft analysis, I talked about a lot of how frail I feel like this team is, and I felt like you really saw that in this game, and you see a lot of the problems in his draft.
Yeah.
I feel like his play was okay, but he overdid how much he relied on webs, and especially when they were gone after sacking Amon to him.
Yeah.
So I felt like his team's a little frail, and he played a little too predictably. I feel like he's definitely gonna have to come back next week and change that up and
Yeah.
try to run some bulkier sets. Try to not be as predictable in his lead and his play, and he'll be fine.
Yeah. Hopefully he can move up fast for me. Well, let's move on to our
Well,
14th rank.
if anything, you've seen how fast you can drop and rise in Rocky's mind.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now it'll be a little bit different. Now, whatever. Screw you, Jake. All right, we ranked 14. We have Silent, and I have Silent ranked at 11. You have Silent ranked at 16. So what's that about?
I thought Silent made quite a few mistakes in this game. So he ended up playing you, and as we know, when you play Rocky, expect some pretty stupid sets. He's a bad player.
What do you mean stupid sets? Amazing sets.
You got lucky. You got lucky, kid. But anyway, I really did not like his prep. Um, I I hate people who bring what's the Isildur set? What's the move on it?
The final gamut, and it has spikes
Final
and
Gambit.
stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I hate people who bring Final Gambit and lead it and then try to do that. If you bring Final Gambit on Isildur, I feel like you should save it for a point in the match that's important.
I I agree with that too. I don't know why he didn't get his spikes up. I didn't bring a defogger at all. I was like, I don't. I think I can make it without it. Um, he it was obvious. Like I said in my prep, I was like, Selgorks. If I see it on the team, I lead with Archeops because he's gonna lead with that, and I'm just gonna my Archeops scarf, and I'm just gonna try to kill it straight off the bat. So it can't final gamut, can't get off spikes or anything like that. So it's too predictable. It's like the sticky web things that we were talking about.
Well, I felt like he didn't bring predictable sets, which I thought was fine. But I thought the sets he brought were kind of weird. Like I didn't like Zen or Manhattan. I thought he brought substitute on too many things.
Yeah,
But other than that, I thought he played okay.
yeah.
I, I think I think he brought it back, but he made some interesting plays at the start that I didn't like.
I the only play that I really didn't like is I just don't understand why he didn't click Moonblast against my Archeops, and he just and I was able to switch in Greninja and kill it because he went Diamond Store and my Greninja lived a Diamond Store and was able basically to end the game right there. I don't know what that play was. And then the same
It
thing
was
with
weird.
Darm at the end. He tries to sub at the M, and I'm just sitting there with Hariyama. I'm just gonna hit it. I'm like, I have no point at the game. Subs, I feel like hurt him. All right, coming in at our 13th ranked spot is Jake the Cows, and I have him ranked 12 overall, and you have him.
Ranked 15th.
Wow, why are you so low on Jake the Cows?
I mean, I had him kind of low in my draft rankings already. And I thought that like while he didn't play terrible, I felt like he was a little under play the best also.
I kind of feel the same way. Like I thought he had a solid team. Like I think that team would win most weeks. The only problem I had with his team at all is he had no way to touch a Skarmory. He had like nothing, not one answer for Skarmory.
I also really didn't like the way that he didn't really have a move on Pinsir to, or not Pinsir, Heracross to hit the Sylveon. I thought was a big problem,
How
and I
do we
felt like he
know?
could have won the game.
He only clicked one
Well,
move the whole time.
I know he didn't click it. If he had a move, he just wanted to scarf close combat it.
And
He
I
just
felt
want, or maybe banned. I don't know. It was choice for sure.
it is definitely a choice. I don't know which it is, but I feel like he had to make a prediction and he didn't with the Heracross because he clicked close combat the whole time and it just got walled by like Charizard came in, Sylveon came on it twice, I think. Skarmory will even take a close combat. Like he had to predict once, like a
The
Stone
Charizard
Edge.
wasn't that big of a deal because he was still doing 55, which is not bad. But the Sylveon, it was doing like maybe 25. Plus, it has that had recovery on it
Mm,
that we saw. So, I don't know. I just felt like if he had a move that could have hit it.
yeah, I
I'm,
think
I'm looking up Heracross' recovery right now
yeah.
just to check.
I,
But I felt like he could, even if you have like return, like at least you're doing like a decent hit on it.
I think it gets poison jab as well. You know, like I think he had to make a prediction and he didn't, and that's why I think ultimately he lost the game. The other weird thing about his team was he had four Mons that were just had either like Calm Mind, Swords Dance, or yeah, he had two Swords Dancers and two Calm Minds, and he just got walled by this Skarmory.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any coverage here for Sylveon. I don't see poison jab
Does it get
or
poison? What's the Stone Edge gonna do?
I mean return would do more and it'd be 100% accurate.
What was return then? You know how much that hits?
Yeah, I'll calculate right now.
Yeah, because he needed to do something else, like or like predict a double switch at some point. That's all I think Jake was missing. Like I liked the prep. The prep was fine, other than not having something to take care of the Skarmory. But he had to predict or make a double, and he didn't do that well. And that's all. Like that's why I didn't move him. I didn't move him down too much from what I had him. I thought he played decent enough. Florges is just kind of nasty.
I'm not gonna. It was Sylveon first of all, and
No, I'm talking
I'm
about
not gonna.
Florges on his team
Oh, okay.
saved them a lot.
Yeah, he has a great team. Like I felt like he could have done a lot with the team he has and just didn't do it. So I'm actually gonna say this right now, Jake the Cows. I'm not as mad at you as I was because Return's only doing 38 to 45 based on if you were Scarf, and I think you were based on close combat damage.
Yeah.
So close combat was is 34 to 40 against physically defensive Sylveon, and Return's only 38 to 45. So just so you know now, I'm not as mad. I think you the prep wasn't bad, but I still don't think you played as well as you could have. You could have played around stuff better.
Yeah. So, with that being said, let's move on to number 12, which is Tempest. And I had Tempest at 15. He dropped so far for me. And you did not drop him that much. You kept him at 8.
Yeah, I thought there. So this was a weird spot for me. There were a lot of people who I don't feel like were good enough to move past him, and there weren't people who played bad enough to move below him. So I have a hard time ranking him based on that. But I think I saw a lot of bad plays and over predicting where I kind of wish I would have moved him a little lower, but I'm just unsure with where I should position him.
Uh, so, what Mon do you think was like, didn't do well on his team?
At least a few. I saw him over predict at least three times that I can think of. I'll pull up the replay to save specific examples, but I'll let you talk about what you thought
Yeah,
first.
yeah, he didn't have a good Darmanitan switch in because he didn't have anything that wanted to take a knockoff. Like he was scared to throw his Lando, which would have been the best in there, but he was scared of getting rid of the choice scarf. And then he made some questionable plays, like having Latios come in on a knockoff and take 50%, which made no sense to me. And he had Mons like Aldino, who already lost his item, so is not going to take anything from knockoff. That he could have kept on switching Aldino in, throw up a wish, and then get out, and you have Regenerator on it. So I didn't know why he didn't do that. Like he didn't play well with his tanks. He needed to use his tanks more often, and he didn't, and it hurt him really bad because of it.
So I'm guessing from the way he played his Lando that it was scarfed.
Oh yeah, it was Scarf. It was Scarf.
Okay. So I can kind of see why he made his plays, but there were two times where he was in with Lando against Incineroar, and he clicked U-turn both times, and I felt like an Earthquake would have been a fine play.
Yeah, because
Because
he had sticky
I
webs
don't,
too.
yeah, he was. I just felt like Zarina would have taken a little bit, but like you had so many things to beat Zarina,
Yeah,
and I think the other thing that would have been scary if he went in like Hot Lucia that play and got a free Swords Dance, which is more makes more sense. But I don't think Killer was going to bring Halucha in until he had the electric train up to get the seed.
hmm
So I thought in both those cases, Earthquake was the safest play.
yeah,
And both times you click to U-turn out into stuff that took a hit from Incineroar. Incineroar just did way too much that game for a mon that I don't think is as good as a lot of people think it is.
yeah, and
The other thing is,
he did really
I
well with his webs. Like we give shit talking about webs, right? He got webs out like during not like the very start of the game, but towards like early middle game, and then blocked the spinner with Rodriguez a whole bunch of times. So
yeah, I think a really good example of when webs work well is the way Tempest played it. I just thought there were a lot of other situations where he played poorly. I think another huge one where I think the very opposite of what I've been saying is he didn't predict is when he brings his Bisharp in. I started to think he had a little bit of a chance, but then it dies really, really badly to a low kick from Zarina, which
which
I thought just killed his entire chance of winning the game.
which you didn't have to take that. Like he could have went straight into Rodriguez as
Yeah,
well.
exactly.
You know?
I'm guessing I don't know what your defogger option was, but
I,
like I against a team that I mean I guess you don't have too many weaknesses rocks, but for example, Killer was talking a lot about how he likes toxic spikes on Tentacruel. So if I was playing Killer and I was worried about Tentacruel coming, I would bring defog on something for sure, or at least a poison type to suck up those toxic spikes.
hmm But he like the sad thing is that Tempest had a team to do really well against them. Like because Cockagrigus shut down the unburdened Halucha, you know?
Kafagrigas almost brought the game back. Like it was
Yeah.
crazy.
And then Aldino had a chance to as well if he didn't have taunt on Incineroar. Aldino would have been able to just do the whole spam like Wish, Heal Bell, and just slowly worked everyone down. But
I'm also not a big fan of his knockoff bring on Dino. I thought 100% he should have brought Toxic over that.
that would have helped us as well too.
I honestly think he could have won this game if he brought Toxic instead of knockoff. I think that one change could have easily won him
I I think I think I'm only upset because it's like he has two great tanks and he didn't use them well. And he could have used them to win the game and he didn't. And that's probably he should be higher than when I put him. I'm just, I'm a defensive guy and I get upset when I don't see it being used right, man. So,
game. No, I thought it was a really good example of someone using half of his team really well and half of his team really badly.
yeah. So, let's move on. Let's go to the next. And the next is a person that took over a team week 1 and I'm happy he's in the league. We have him in at 11
I don't
overall.
I don't like him.
You don't like it? I love him, and it's Tyler.
I have yet to beat him, but we'll see this season. I think we play.
I have so much fun playing with him, and to me, I had him ranked. I had the team ranked 17 before this week, and it's moved all the way up to 9. And then you had the team ranked 18th, and he moved all the way to
Up
12.
to 12. Well,
Yeah,
he made a lot of changes and made the team better, and he's overall. I felt someone who was going to play well. He's at the same level, if not maybe a little below where Lucy is as a battler. So I felt like you're not losing a lot of the coaching ability, but you're making the team better, which I thought by itself was a good buff in his rank. But overall, we've said earlier, I think Bryce lost the game, not that Tyler won it.
yeah. It was really easy for Tyler. I mean, like he had a good plan. He just set it up, and then he just killed everything. It was very. It, I wouldn't. I'm not gonna totally say that Bryce lost it. Bryce definitely did not lose it, but I think Tyler always had something, no matter what. You know, it's this game's a little upsetting, but I am excited because I faced Tyler week 1. So maybe all this shit talking I'm talking, I will like regret everything. Maybe Bryce will laugh at me. He's like, haha, you lost to a belly drum of noon too, you idiot.
No, I mean you are stupid, so he's right there.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. Well, that's enough on Tyler. It's pretty simple. Just took down the team. So then moving to number 10 is Dark. And you personally played Dark this week. So that must have
Yeah,
been fun.
I played Dark and I've known him, but it was more like a 1-0. It felt like because there was one play that I'll talk a little more about in a sec
Mm.
that changed the entire game by a lot. But I'll let Rocky get his thoughts out and say where we have him ranked.
Yeah,
Um,
so see, like I was watching this game and I kind of knew Jake set because I helped him prep, and then we're watching it, and I just want to say Melodic is a monster. It's able in there take so many hits and just recover and stuff. And Dark had a really hard task to deal with this week because the combination of Venusaur and Umbreon is very nasty. And like Jake didn't have to play anything like crazy. He just had to be safe. And Dark needed to make some plays, and he could not make plays. He could not decide on what to do. Like he had Latios in, and then he switches out when he needed just to hit the Venusaur and stuff. But then Venusaur is so just takey. Like it would take a psychic and not die. Like I think if he would have went like a con mine rest maybe on Ladio would
well,
have been good.
he
I don't know.
he was Calm Mind Recover or Roost, one of the recovering moves.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He
This
had it there. He just didn't have the stuff to deal with Umbreon until it was gone.
this is what I
And
was
just never the
upset
Umbreon.
because he didn't have Hill Bell on Aldino. So you were able to just toxic everything. Everything came in, and Venusaur
That
was like
that was
toxic,
that was the game
toxic.
plan. I'm oh, love that 100% toxic.
Because
Nothing worse than missing.
because I felt like he could have just bring in Mega Aldino right in front of Venusaur, and just Hill Belled and like Side Shock or Psychic or even Calm Mind with that thing, and just Psychic and then Dazzling Gleam. See, that's what it is right there.
Honestly,
That
I'd probably lose if he brings like Heal Bell, Psyshock,
and
Calm
Dazzling
Mind, stuff like
Gleam.
that.
Like that beats those two Mons, and we didn't get to see that. I think he brought Fire Blast instead.
Well, so I think I'm still to this point thinking about it. If he had even if he got Kaman Lottie going, I it was just over. If he
Yeah.
had the chance for that, he even had the Lumberry on it, expecting the toxic. Like his prep was incredible on Lottie. He was
Yeah,
ready.
like he over predicted a little bit too much. He should have just sat there and just start winning the town. But and you sat there and you're like, he's gonna over predict, and that's what happened.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'll talk about what happened now. So this week I've been calling myself the Hex King because there was one turn that changed everything. Where the my Lodic was about at 68, and it was me. My Mega Venusaur was at 81, and I Giga Drained, and I crit it, getting the 68%. Which first of all, it didn't kill if it wasn't a crit. Second of all, he had clicked Mirror Coat that turn, so I was dying 100% that turn.
Which would have gave him a good advantage.
Which would have I without Mega Venusaur, I don't know if I could have stopped a lot of what he had.
Hmm.
So that's one moment where I hacked him basically for the win.
Yeah.
I think I could have won. It would have been a lot more of a 50-50 game after that. But just know that I'm the Hacks King and be prepared.
All
I'm
right.
bringing the hacks this season.
So, moving on now, then let's talk about our next rank, which is rank number 9, and it's Manny. And this boy loves his tanks. I mean, legit. He he comes in at number 9 for me, and I think number 9 for you as well.
I had him at number 10.
Oh, you had him at number. Yeah, okay, wait. I had him at number 10. You had him at number 10. Last week we both had him ranked number 9, so he didn't drop that far. I have something wrong on here.
This was a weird game. This
Yeah.
was a weird game to watch.
Yeah.
I thought 100% I would have bet money, like a lot of money, that he won the game halfway through the game. And I thought it was going to be a 6-0 too. And I had never seen a game to go so fast from a 6-0 to a
Well,
0-1
well,
in the
because we're
opponent's quarter.
like we're at turn 50 and it's 6-3, and Mandy's whole team legit like had recovery. I think on all.
He was probably missing like 40% health from like the total of his bonds. Like it
Yes.
felt like that.
And it was rough. It's like I commend Kid Icarus on how he played, and we'll get to that when he plays. But I think what hurt Mandy was the fact that he had so much recovery moves, took away slots to actually hit Pokemon
He
more.
had no coverage for Mega Aggron, basically, is what it came down to.
Yeah, and that hurt him at the end. He had nothing really to hit him. The other thing too is we'll bring this up. He missed two Draco meteors that could have helped him a lot, especially in such a close game like he had. And it sucked that happened. And also, I don't even like Draco Meteor because in this game, he drops a Draco and he goes -2, and he's forced now to switch out. So he was able to get good, or Kid was able to get good momentum because of that. Like he knew he was gonna switch out.
In this game, you see three major changes in momentum, and all of them happen because of Dracometer
Yes,
in Kid Icarus's favor.
yes. I wonder what would have happened if he would have just combined Lottie as well.
Not even that. What if he just runs Dragon Pulse? I think he just wins the game.
It would definitely help because at least hitting helps out. you know, yeah. Uh,
But anyway, overall, great prep, great play. think you just went a little too deep into your own bag of tricks and
Yeah.
didn't bring out enough of like the kind of flexibility that you want to see from Mons. They all just were one trick ponies and it ended poorly.
Uh, and this is like we're not worried about Manny. He's a two-time back-to-back champ of the UPL. He's gonna be fine. This is a little hiccup. He'll never use Draco Meteor ever again, and it's gonna be fine. So moving on is the greatest Pokemon player of all time, which is Jake,
The newly proclaimed Hex King.
Hax King. And then we just talked about Dark. You moved all the way from 8. I have you ranked 4th overall. You have yourself ranked 15th because you're dumb and that's what you want to do. But I watching your team, like your team, I was like, it sucks. It sucks to play against. I felt like you were in command of the game the whole time. Like other than like if Dark's like actual tricks that he had for you worked out, I still think it would have been a really close game no matter what. And if Dark didn't bring those like tricky stuff, then you would have just easily been a cakewalk. I think all year long it's going to be hard for everyone to play against you with your defensive core and then with your setup mons.
Honestly, I've really enjoyed it so far. Like, so usually when I play, I have so many decisions to make every turn. Just because if I decide to set up on the wrong turn, I'm basically dooming myself. But with this team, I just like say, fuck it. I'm gonna click Toxic. I'm gonna click Giga Drain. I'm not gonna do anything different. I don't have to predict. I'm not going to predict. I'm just gonna sit back and let my mons do what they do best. And it was great. It was a great feeling not to have to predict the whole game.
Yeah, it's nice, right? It's nice. The my only thing is turn 1 or I guess it would be turn 2. Why didn't you just keep on dragon dancing with Gyarados?
Okay, so I talked. This was completely your fault in the prep. So what happened was in our mock matches, Rocky used freeze dry a Mamoswine to kill my Gyarados as I was setting up with it. And so just so everyone knows, my load gets freeze dry. I'm pretty sure.
Are you
So
are you 100% sure?
like 98% sure.
I don't think
So
it does.
no, I'm pretty sure I've used my leg before and run freeze dry on it before.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure.
now I have to go look up and see if it has freeze dry because I don't know it did if it does because I was thinking right there I was like I would take the risk of
Okay,
yeah
I
it
don't
does
think
not
that
get freeze
it
dry.
does. It does not. I'm stupid.
Yeah.
Drop me the rankings right now.
And I'm thinking about there. I'm like, I think it would kind of be worse. I mean, worth the risk of that 30% skull burn. That's the only thing he really had to hit you for you to D dance up, and then you would have been at +2.
Oh
And
no, I
what was your move
100%.
set?
I was earthquake, crunch, waterfall.
Yeah, and I felt like if you would have got that and he didn't get the burn, I don't think he beats you. I think you just sweep him 6-0 straight off the bat with that move set.
I guess that's one of those things where you just stick a mon gets moving and doesn't. We've all talked about how freeze dry only goes to like 5 good mons, and you know what? You're all right. It only goes to like 5 good mons.
Yeah, and it was Mammoth not her. Oh god, I was just like, I'll do that. And I was like, even if you get burned, you just D dance again. You just keep on doing it. That was my only thing, but it's good. Coming in at number 7, we have Kid Icarus, and he's like one of the biggest movers. Like
He probably is. I'm guessing.
he
At
moved.
least up. He's the biggest mover up.
Yeah, he went from 15 on my thing up to number 7. And then on him, on you, you had him at 14 and he went to 9.
I have a 9, yeah.
And I don't know how this man did it. Like, legit have no clue how he did it because, like we said earlier against Mandy's team, he was down 6-3 and it was looking bad at turn 50. And he was able to turn it around. And I give him credit for just not giving up. because a lot of
Well,
time,
100%. A lot of my ranking is based on him not giving up. I would have given up long before turn 50.
yeah.
I would have just clicked X after I saw that I couldn't do 50% to any of his mons.
hmm I really liked his Bulu set because it was really tanky. It was able to take ice beams from Lottie and only
So
do like 30.
I was wondering this. Was it AV? I have no idea.
I don't remember. I think I saw it like maybe it was AV.
Because when I watched the match, I was like 100% that's AV, but Bulu's a little bulkier than than I thought originally.
hmm and that helped him at the end. The fact that man he didn't have nothing to really kill the Aggron, and he just kept on like
Well,
trying to
honestly,
moonlight
the
or
first
roost
like
in front of
40
it.
turns, the first 40 turns, I would have given him like a 3 out of 10. But the rest of the game, he was just like a 12 out of 10. He never stopped thinking what he was doing.
Yeah.
Like he kept making plays, which I thought was amazing. Like
I
I would have given up and just like clicked moves to get it over with.
The only thing I would wish that he would have done differently is I wish he would have thrown out toxic more times against the milk tank just to PP stall the hail bells. And he would have been fine, and it would have helped him with Aggron when he was doing everything. But he got a good toxic on Latias. No, yeah, Mega Latias later, which helped him win. And of course, missing Dracos don't help. That hurt him a lot. I mean, the other guy. But let's talk about Choice Specs Savali and Hyper Voice. I cannot believe how much damage that thing
That
did.
was awesome. It was. I. I thought he was like a -1 a muck for whatever reason because of how much it was doing.
Right,
I didn't think Specs Savali would do that much to muck.
right, because Muck is very special defensive. Like it can
Well,
take hits.
he must have been full adamant, like full attack adamant, or full physical defense. Because he
I
probably had no special defensive
I
investment.
bet you he was full HP, full adamant. But still, like if he was that, I don't know. Like I can't believe Savali was able to do like 50% to Muck every single time.
I, this is the first time in my league experience where I've heard anything about Savali outside of parting shot. The thing is, Savali is a great mon. Apparently, I
Yeah,
learned that.
Savali came in clutch, won him the game, and I'm proud to see that because that's a mon that I really like and I would like to play with it, but I could never get it in drafts anymore. Dumb, because
Okay.
kid has to take all the
Kid,
Pokemons I
kid,
want.
kid only. His only draft plan is to snipe Rocky.
I swear to God, I love him so much. Speaking of Rocky, let's talk about the number 6 ranking, and it's me.
We wanted to rank him last. Unfortunately, he won this week, so we had to move on.
It's glorious me. It's so glorious. Yeah, I moved myself up from 10th spot to 8, and then you moved me from 10th to 6 this week, which puts me 6
Uh,
overall.
yep, yep.
So, how about you talk about how amazing my team was?
I thought there was a lot of great prep overall. I
Yeah.
thought there were a couple plays where I thought you were bad. I can't believe you just stayed in and started switcherooing with Archeops. I thought that was a giant mistake and should have cost you the game.
So,
But I think at that point you had already played too well to lose.
so at that point, I would say my whole thought process was I just wanted Archeops to die so I could bring something in for free. But then he set up a sub, which I'm like, okay, well, whatever. I have stuff to break a sub. Like I had Choice Specs, Modest, Greninja with the Water Sarukan to deal with that. And but then I was worried a little bit because I was like, what if he saw him calm mind? And if I just sit here and kept on switcherooing and he gets like 2 calm minds up, I'm not going to be able to kill it. And it'd be a roll on how many Water Sarukans I get. So I try to make a good play, which is really a bad play by switching in a Greninja. And he made a bad play by uh, not clicking Moonblast because he didn't have Calm Mind. Should have just clicked Moonblast. He would have killed my Greninja, but I would have been able to come back anyways. I felt, but
I was surprised you brought Water Shuriken on that grenade.
Well, I saw how well it did against Diancie and Darmanitan, and I was like, if I can get something else a little bit low, like Cabalion, if he would have brought Cabalion, it would have done like 40 to close to 50%. So I was like, it's good priority. My whole plan was to have good priority against him because I had two bullet punts, I had the water shuriken on me, and then Scarf Garchomp just kind of cleaned up the team after I did a lot of damage with them throughout the whole
Dark
game.
Garchomp always puts in so much work.
Yeah. And that comes to his team being a little bit slow. I saw that it was slow on the slow side, so Garchomp was a good bring this week. But yeah,
Well, he just didn't have anything that could. He didn't have many things that could catch a 102 Scarfer.
yeah. I also think my team was really good against his team as well. Like I think he'll do better in his weeks to come. I just my team was really good against his team. See, my baby even knows
The baby's got it's got to chip in for his daddy. Gotta
that.
let him know. My daddy's a Pokemon master.
Yeah. So enough about me. Let's talk about Byron coming in at number five. And
I think Sylveon and Skarmory on the same team is absolutely disgusting.
like what did he have to do? Like he played safe all the time and he was just solid the whole game.
I should watch the match again, but I don't think I saw one prediction the whole game.
From who? What side? Neither side? Because neither of them
Well,
predicted.
yeah, neither. But
Yeah.
I
Scar-
think literally the only mistake Byron made at all was he brought double Dragon Dance Charizard.
yeah. Skarmory was amazing for him. Skarmory kept him in the game, make sure nothing got out of hand. Is really good. Jolteon hit everything really hard, other than Florges. But once he got like Florges out of the way, it was fine. And then, uh,
There's really just not much to say besides he just prepped and played great.
yeah, that's exactly what happened. He had good prep and he just played his whatever his plan was. He just executed it. He never got outside his box, and it was pretty easy for him. I felt like because he's like, okay, this mon's in, I throw in this mon. This mon's in, I throw in this mon. No predictions at all. Just was really solid.
Well, I think that's gonna be a really common thing because there's not many Mons that you or many people who have Mons that can beat Sylveon and Skarmory on the same.
Unless you have Salazzle, which no one has Salazzle, by the way, in this league. Someone should pick it up. Yeah, it's weird. We don't have much to say because it's just Byron played really good. Good
He
prep.
didn't do anything wrong.
Exactly.
Like that's all I can say. He played a perfect game.
Yep. So then let's move on. Let's go to our number four spot, which he dropped in the overall rankings, but sadly he didn't drop for our rankings, and that's Killer coming out number four. I had him ranked number two last week, and I had him ranked number two again. You had him ranked number five last week, and you had him ranked number five again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he drops from number two overall to number four. And that's just because we had people
Basically,
move up.
people moved up on both our rankings.
Yeah. And just seeing like watching his game, it was just a lot of. I felt like he didn't predict anything either as well. He just had good preps and he was solid. And oh shoot, who did he play? Tempest. Tempest kind of like gave him all the chances in the world in the game.
His opponent basically gave him every chance to win. Like
Hmm.
the only way Killer lost the game if he threw it away. I didn't think he played great overall.
I just don't think he did. I think he just was going through the motion, kind of. Like I didn't see anything spectacular, but at least he didn't make any bad plays. You know?
Yeah, I don't know. Just just again another match where I don't have much to say. Killer played. He played well enough to win the game.
Yep.
Basically, is like what I.
He played well enough to win the game, and he won the game. And hopefully we'll see a little bit more, something like maybe a little bit more creative or fun, or maybe not. Just do whatever it takes to win. You know?
I just felt like if Tempest didn't misplay and didn't overpredict, he won that game easily. Easily.
I wouldn't say easily, but I think it would have been more in his favor. It would have forced it would have forced Killer to have to make predictions as well, which it would have been nice to see if that would have happened or not. But we will never know. We'll never know.
I think his team's good and he's a good prepper. Well, I think he'll win a lot of games. So that's all I have to say, really.
All right. Well, then let's go to number three, which is Nakora. And I know you love Nakora. You have the biggest man crush on Nakora because you have him ranked number one overall, and I only moved them up like one spot to move him up to number fifth overall.
He's my second favorite man in the UPL.
And I don't like the only I don't know. He had great prep for everything. Like he shut down a Dragon Knight from it getting like crazy with two Intimidators, and then he swept with Komomo.
Yeah, that's basically what happened. I felt like his opponent misplayed a little bit, but I felt like Nikora had everything covered.
Yeah. We hardly ever got to see. I don't even think Ferrothorn came out on the field, and Alamola only came out to use eject button, which was amazing. Loved it. You played it perfectly. He got to use the eject button, come in with Mawau, and intimidate the Dragon Knight, and then kill it right afterwards. It was good.
Yeah, just great prep, great play,
Yeah.
same stuff. But I felt like his opponent was playing well and he stopped it.
Yeah, I would love to see what would have happened if Calexo would have just stayed in and kept on ledging the kimono. See if the game would well the game would have been a lot different if he would have done that, but it would have been nice. But yeah, let's move on then. The good thing about the top people, there's not much to say because if you make good plays, you're just good. It's just
Yeah, you made good. A lot of people at the top played well and didn't really have anything crazy happen.
hmm
Like they didn't like they basically played. A lot of them played really well and then didn't make any mistakes. There's not many things to talk about.
yeah. So coming in at number two is Mandy, and I ranked her number one overall. To me,
About the same level.
hmm I thought Mandy had phenomenal prep for everything. The fact that you just see like I think physical moves from Jirachi, and then a thunderbolt comes out to kill the
Yeah,
Galisapod.
and then it's like there's thigh shock in there too. I believe like it was a good mix.
Yeah, he had a good mix of. She had a good mix. Fable just saved your ass if anything would get a beast boost. Don Fan, amazing, just amazing. Love Don Fan.
Yeah, and like I feel like the only thing that stopped Clefable from just winning the game by itself was the fact that well, one it couldn't beat Stakataka, and two it got poisoned.
Yeah. I think the only thing I would criticize on Maddie in this game was she had a turn on turn three where I think both of them doubled, and he brought in the was that poison thing, Pup,
Poiple.
yeah, Poiple, and he got and she got Donphan in. She should have put up rocks. She should have put up rocks knowing that he was going to switch out, but she earthquakes and the Glycopod comes in. If she would have got rocks on, this game would have been way worse because Hubi doesn't have a way to get rid of rocks on his team. And the fact that Hubi switched out so much with like Glycopod and other Mons, she would have easily chipped everything down and just killed it. Because she had the defensive Mons to take hits and to return enough damage back.
The one play I didn't like is there's a play where she stays in the flamethrowers with Stakataka, which does literally nothing and just sacks off her Clefable.
I'm okay with
Where
that.
I felt like it could have stayed and taken a hit from Glycopod because Glycopod was a pretty big problem for her.
hmm
But besides that, I thought she played pretty well overall.
Yeah.
Um,
The
a lot of the things I saw is the same old for Mandy, where she's a great drafter, she's a great prepper, but she gets a little nervous in the battle stage. And won't
Yeah.
make like maybe not mistakes, but won't make the optimal play.
Yeah, there was another play with her Vaporeon where I forget what it is. I think it was something like she threw up a wish and she pressed protects afterwards, which I didn't understand. Let me see if I could find it. It's gonna be this play right here. So she throws up a wish and then she clicks protect when she's like already at 82% against the purple. And I didn't understand what's the point of that if you're not gonna switch out. You should have just hit the damn thing that was right in front of you to get more momentum on doing damage to the Pokemon. So she like did 3 turns of not doing anything because of that. And thank God she had haze to stop the purple from doing a nasty plot all day. That was good.
Yeah, the Poipole was great. I loved it.
Yeah, I
I
can't wait to
think
see it again.
I don't think it was that big of a deal because nothing on whose team had reliable recovery. So I
Yeah.
think she played it well. She basically played like the long game and won because of it.
hmm But I felt like on that instead of clicking protect, you could have went straight into Donphat and you would have healed all the way up, and then you can kill the Poiple, and or get rocks back up again. I mean, even if he would have had like +2 and he had like HP ice, you still have your sturdy because you just got that wish up.
Ubi has circuitry, right?
Yeah,
I don't know why he didn't bring that. I felt like that did a lot this game.
maybe because of Manectric and Donphat. Maybe.
I mean, again with like Tail Glow or like even like Z Hypnosis, like it could probably if
Yeah, but
Donphan was like at 50 or lower, it could beat it with like HP Grass.
so I was thinking about Z Hypnosis, and then I remember he doesn't have the Psychic Crystal. He only has the grass, so he can't even use it. Lame.
Oh, I forgot. No, we have Z crystals. Oh well.
Yep, yep. So let's move on to the number one spot overall, the greatest of this week, and that's Ninetales. And this is your boy. You had him number 2 overall. I moved him up from 7 to number 3, so he moved up really high, and he got the first place ranking this week.
Yeah, I mean, fucking Ninetales playing like a master.
Yeah,
I didn't think at any point after the first turn that he could have lost that game.
yeah, like have the Gengar coming up and basically just killing one Mon and then just crippling the Latios right afterwards. He had a solid thing and he never gave up the lead after that. He had good defensive Mons to stop stuff. He had ways to beat everyone, and then just with San and Stotlin and even a Terrakion, I don't know what you're supposed to do. I'm still upset at Frozen.
I almost had Stoutland as the offensive MVP because it played.
Yeah, I hope this doesn't make Nineted's head too big. It is. Damn it. So that
I
is
mean, even if his head gets too big, he has so much hair to cover it where it's fine.
glorious hair. So I guess that covers our rankings from 18 to 1. So let's talk about our thing that we're gonna do, and it's gonna be the standouts of the week. So Jake will give you an offensive mon for the week that he thought performed better than everyone. I will give you a defensive mon of the week that I thought performed amazing, and then we'll also give you the match of the week as well. And I will start off because defense is way better than offense. And I felt the best defensive mon of the week was Skarmory. The fact that Skarmory was able to just world win 4 setup mons out made Byron's team so easy. It just he could never set up with his mon Tempest, right? He played Tempest, I
Jake
believe.
Cows.
Played Jake the Cows. Jake couldn't set up any mons because of it, and he had no way to really hit it. So as long as he had Skarmory, that game was a locked. He had no way to kill anything. And it had great switch in because it was able to take anything Floor just wanted to do. And it was just really good. And if he didn't have that Mon, I think the game could have went a different way.
There's a couple things I wish we would have done. I feel like if you bring Calm Mind Torgus against someone you know who's bringing Skarmory, you should bring HP Fire,
hmm
HP Electric on. The other thing was I was almost in complete agreement about the Skarmory. I wasn't choosing the defensive MVP of the week, but I was kind of thinking who it was, and I completely agree. Maybe Mega Venusaur was a close second, but
Oh,
like I agree completely. Skarmory was great.
yeah. So how about you tell us the offensive mon of the week?
Okay, first I'll start with my runner up. Because I feel like it's almost one to like tied for first, but I just felt like um both of these mons could have been easily stopped, but they weren't. So that's why I'll do one and the other. First was Linoon in our last battle of the week. Uh, I felt like it could have been stopped, but it was still going to put a lot of pressure on, and it really just won the game by itself.
Yeah.
It felt like. Yeah. I mean, as soon as Fortress was low, it was over when Linoon got set up. But my offensive mon of the week was Como
Oh
because
God.
I just felt like it really put a giant hole in the team that Nicora was facing, and there was no way that they were coming back.
No, it put. If I had to pick him on, it was Como as well because Como just put a hole through that whole team. So Norcora had no chance of ever losing that. It it was too easy for him.
Yeah, but I think we're both in agreement on our game of the week, though. It was a really easy one to pick this week.
Oh yeah, by far. It was the closest game of the week. It lasted forever. We
It was
can't believe it
crazy
happened.
turnaround. Oh my lord! I've watched the game 5 times and still do not know how Kid Icarus won the game versus
Yeah.
Annie.
That game is insane. Hacks happened. Yeah, it had everything. It was like a glorious movie that you went to
It
go
was
watch
like
in the theater.
it was like a boring first 50 turns, and then it gets crazy. It's like one of those movies where it just drags on, but then at the end it gets really good.
Yeah. It it
Yeah,
was the
it was,
closest game I think this week. I think it was
I think it
a
has to be because
yeah, it was a 1-0 victory. And it was a good
a lot, of, a
victory.
lot of a lot of crazy sets in there that were fun to watch.
Yeah,
Maybe not crazy, but a lot of like really different sets that you don't see 100% of the time. Like Specs Savali was awesome.
yeah, and I hope to see actually Kid make another game of the week because he has a lot of Pokemon I love.
I'm interested to see how he does. Kid Icarus has this thing where like one week he'll play like near the top of the league, the next week he'll play near the bottom. So Kid, if you're listening, just know keep it consistent. Try to do well next week too. I mean, I think you will, but you got a great team.
Yeah, so we're gonna wrap it up. So this video
I
isn't
think
2 hours long.
I think it's an hour and a half long, so that's great. We'll have to try harder next week.
Yeah, maybe people need to be better, so I don't have to just go on a rant about how bad they are. But yeah,
Yeah. Well, this is us signing out. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a
yep.
like, subscribe to Rocky's page.
No,
You know what
don't
to do.
leave a like. Leave a hate. Just I want total hate. Just cancer everywhere. Put a bad comment down there too.
Yeah, just tell him that he sucks and that he's old, because he is. He
Wow.
is old.
All right,
He's like 90.
I'm getting out of here. Screw you, Jake. I'm going home.
He's recording this from home, guys.